Before we start this, major spoiler warning. This video is all about talking about the game's twist and the ending. So if you haven't played Strangers of Paradise, here's your chance to back out now. In fact, I'll give you even more of a chance to back out. There is one more thing I gotta talk about before starting this video, and I'll try to keep it short. The FromSoft fans just still won't shut up about Elden Ring. Still harping on its sales, saying casuals are playing this one a lot, unlike previous Souls games. And yet on Steam charts, those percentages of lost players on PC alone, they keep going up. Those sales in the millions mean absolutely nothing, with just a very small portion of those buyers are the ones still playing the game at this point. And that percentage of lost players increases so quickly. It's been 2 weeks since my previous video where I mentioned those percentages. Yet the increase is insane. The most accessible Souls game to date, they say. Absolute nonsense. In fact, I remember falling for that for Monster Hunter World. Those people were just comparing Monster Hunter World to previous installments. Doing that doesn't mean the newest game is easier. In fact, in Monster Hunter World's case, it just made that game worse because older games had certain things that Monster Hunter World took out. Comparing Elden Ring to previous Souls games doesn't mean the newest one is easier. And the fact that so many PC players have left in a short time, that proves it. I thought PC players had more patience in comparison to console players, and PC players have mods. Yet even mods weren't enough to keep PC players around to the point that they actually beat the game. No, the majority of those PC buyers, they were fooled by those dishonest 10 out of 10s. Tried out the game and they quit because it's FromSoft. FromSoft defenders say, oh, more casuals are playing this one, but all these players leaving, PC players at that, that's not casuals playing. That's the niche minority playing. Just look at that total. At the time I'm recording this, on Monday, May 16th, 10:27 a.m., that total percentage is at 95.28. Does that look like the casuals playing? Does that look like the majority to you? This means that over on Steam, which is the biggest service for PC, only 4.72% of players left are the ones still playing. Those are the FromSoft fans. FromSoft fans know why that is. And at this point, no info on console sales is just suspicious. If PC sales were charted so quickly, why not consoles? They know that the console sales are freaking low. And no doubt console players quit even faster. But because of the low sales, less players on their end would be even worse. This last bit wasn't supposed to be here, but over on Twitter, man, those FromSoft defenders can get you reported. Oh boy, I am not letting that go. I will never shut up about this until FromSoft changes. Now, on to the video about a game that was actually fun that made me want to keep playing, as video games are supposed to do. Strangers of Paradise. Man, this game deserves to continue. I thought this was supposed to be a retelling of Final Fantasy 1, but the ending and twist threw me for a loop. But through the game, you're purifying the crystals and memories are starting to come back to Jack. Through that time, you also see glimpses of this race of people called the Lufinians. First thing they reminded me of was the Isu, the first civilization from Assassin's Creed. And Assassin's Creed Origins and Final Fantasy 15 had a collaboration once, so I wouldn't have been surprised if they were. You slowly see that the Lufinians are the ones pulling the strings, using humans as pawns. The exact same thing as the Isu. And Jack and his party, they are sent in to keep this balance of light and chaos, and every time they succeed, their memories are wiped. So they're sent in over and over again in every cycle, until they start to hatch up a plan with Astos. whose memories aren't wiped in every cycle. He's just another experiment, another pawn of the Lufinians. So near the end, chaos starts to wreck the kingdom. The princess gets killed in the middle of it. And in this memory, twist starts to be revealed.
Garland. My name's Jack Garland.
Yes, Garland. As in the source of chaos, Garland. The villain of Final Fantasy I, Garland. I'm just sitting on the edge of my seat like, wait, where is this twist? Where is this game going? So this is one of those games where you were playing as the villain the whole time. I knew of the original Final Fantasy I but never played it, but I didn't know that Garland was a former knight that fell to the darkness. But in this, him falling is the Lufinians' fault. In fact, they are just like the Isu. Freaking assholes that use humans as pawns. Now here's where the game gets crazy. You have to fight your own party. I have never played RPGs where that happened. And the funny thing is, through the game, I was equipping good gear for the party members, mainly so they look good in cutscenes. And the funniest part about this is that I gotta fight Kagi, aka Kagi Films, you know, the guy that's voices Shallot. Was Devil Artemis in the writing room? Was this Kermit's idea? Or was it Self's? Probably Self's. So through this point, it's time to talk about literally the one problem with this game. The voice directing. Not the voice acting, the voice directing. I wouldn't be surprised if the one complaint people had about this game is the story being tough to watch because of the voice acting. But the voice directing is the problem. The voice actors are good, but the director clearly did not understand English, which is why a lot of lines in this game sounded weird. This kind of problem dates back to Resident Evil 1, and it actually still happens these days. For example, it happened in Wasted Potential Dragon Ball Xenoverse 1 and 2. So yeah, most of the lines in this game were just completely off because the director was directing these English lines in a way that would make sense in Japanese, but not English. But near the end of the game, the voice directing starts to get good. I'm guessing they switched voice directors at the last minute. For example, let me cut forward to a good line from Kagi. Sucks that the director didn't let them voice this good at the start of the game. I forgot to mention that the story has a lot to do with memories coming back, so I can at least understand what the director was trying to do with these characters early on, but it just didn't work in English.
Did I play my role right? Sorry, it must have hurt.
There's one other cool thing about this party at the end, but I'll talk about it when we get there. And another thing, when these games do these types of moments where you gotta fight your friends, that's always funny to me, because you don't want to do it, meanwhile you are mashing the button and beating the smack out of them.
Never forgive Lufenia.
They don't deserve a future.
So, no regrets.
How could I?
That's our Jack. You really are tough.
Yeah, your party is freaking dead. And it really makes me wonder if the fight would have differed depending on what you equip your party members. Now, one impressive thing about these cutscenes, they show that throughout the game, your party had different armor equipped. I wondered if the game actually put in consideration every piece of armor you've ever equipped for your party. But I'm pretty sure they didn't do that, because in these cutscenes, like, I know I had a different armor set equipped on them. It's still impressive though. I thought in every cutscene they would just show them in one type of armor set, and that's it. Here's another example coming up on the voice acting getting good near the end of the game, because Jack's voice actor is putting up a performance.
Let me forget. Let me forget. Please. Make it stop.
Seriously, why wasn't he allowed to do that at the start of the game? Then Garland wouldn't have been so meme-worthy when the game was first shown. Now, I thought he was going to transform and get the armor. I mean, that would have been sick, but that didn't happen. But now at this point, it's time to go back to where it all began.
Help me.
They're supposed to change the extraction point every time, you know. But just between us, it's almost always the Chaos Shrine.
Another thing to note, that when you're in the menu after that mission, there's this sad music playing. So, I skipped ahead. The mission before this, you're back at the very first area of the game to head to the extraction point. And then you end up here, in the asshole Lufenian's home turf.
He's completely corrupt.
And here comes another line, probably his best line in this game.
He's a traitor. That's why.
Contagion confirmed.
Report!
Unknown. Suspected metaphysical anomaly. Corruption spreading.
If this continues, he'll reestablish our link to the old world.
Then we have no choice. Reset it.
I see no other option.
Activating dimensional crystal matrix. Preparing to initiate world reboot.
Agent Jack Garland, can you hear me?
Clear as day.
The station you're in is infected. We're going to reinitialize it along with the old world. We've got no other choice.
Who do you think you are?
He's unintelligible.
Likely due to chaos corruption.
Jack, acknowledge.
Who the fuck do you think you are?
Dimensional crystal matrix ready. Standing by.
Do it.
You arrogant bastards! Wanna play God? I won't let you! I'll rip that power from your hands and make it my own!
Alright, time to destroy their shit.
Jack, stop!
Bastards don't deserve the right to play God!
Time for a change.
Smash the light until only darkness remains!
What is that?
Analyzing.
You're wasting your time. This soul is mine to devour. A feast fit for chaos! Now I'll swallow you whole, and even those damn fiends will kneel to me as their lord!
Again, this should have been Jack Garland at the start of the game, instead of being so emotionless. Now it's time to fight this Chaos wannabe. Or the Chaos prototype.
Shut up! The mantle of chaos is mine! I claim your darkness as my own!
No!
Shut up, asshole! Stand back and witness the birth of chaos! And watch as your plans turn to dust! Eternity despair will...
Another thing to add, the fist weapons, best weapons in the game.
Cornelia doesn't need insidious darkness! I alone am more than enough to drown the land in shadows!
This foolishness! Eliminate the target!
Yes! bastard sounds like a fine idea! No more fools! Go!
Jack, let's talk this out. What do you want?
It's not enough. It's still not enough.
Central has given clearance to isolate and detach Station 19. Control is to be transferred to the next station.
Agent Garland, you are hereby discharged. Goodbye, Jack. Lufenia thanks you for your service.
You give Central a message of resignation for me. You'll never cast off your shackles to the old world. Not as long as you continue to flush your darkness into Cornelia. So I'll bide my time, gather my strength, and use that link to return someday. Mark my words, I'll be back to wipe all of you from existence.
Too bad we don't get to whoop the Lufenians' asses.
Who knows more about
The Lufenians are about to reset the cycle again. Yet they couldn't kill Garland. He sticks around.
I get it now.
And put the plan into motion.
Answer us!
Not a chance!
So, time is reset. And you're at this point where you're just walking to your freaking throne.
The Warriors of Light will come one day.
So, here you are. Hail to the king. Now the first thing you see is, oh, the main bosses you fight, they work for you now. But here's the twist. Those bosses are your party members.
Don't you think it's a little dark in here?
And Kagi is the water boss.
We're storing it all here.
And they really left hints along the way.
Still about 2,000
So
years before the
this twist actually works. In fact, two things that got my attention were the crystals not glowing their colors after being purified, and the game cover having this fifth member. My question was, wait, who's party member number 5 here?
Lufenia's tentacles can't reach us here.
This is insane! When this game was announced, we thought this game was going to be about the canon party from the first game. We thought these were redesigns of the OG team, but they just didn't have their canon armor yet. But no, this was about Garland and the 4 main bosses of the OG game. This implies that Garland and those bosses were the OGs before the OGs.
Plan.
Do tell.
We'll train the Warriors of Light ourselves.
Interesting.
So here's their plan.
The Warriors of
It seems
Light
like
will be born in
to get strong enough to fight the Lufenians,
just like you were.
they'll basically just grind their own XP by beating the OG Final Fantasy team in every cycle. Or the plan is to get the canon team on their side.
Lufenia won't dictate these terms to anyone anymore. I've been wondering, when did you all start scheming to turn me into chaos?
And this bit goes back to the part where I mentioned what I understand the director was trying to do.
Took long enough.
Those weird lines
What?
where it's supposed to show that the party were getting their memories back first, and Jack was just starting to.
Together.
I was touch and go there for a while. We'd have never figured it out without those hints Astos gave us.
No, there were
These people pulled some Itachi and She-Sweet planning.
Yet we pulled it off. Kudos to the brilliant master.
Geez, things would have went by a lot smoother if Astos just told them in the first place.
I want you to be my accomplice. With your help, we may be able to change things next time.
Be safe, Jack.
And wow, this sucks for Garland.
Always.
Like time is reset, he and his party remember everything. But the princess won't remember a single thing.
Happens next.
Let's see. How about I spirit you away to my...
Garland's being flirty here, but man, this part is kind of on the nose, wasn't
Send
it?
his armies.
Oh, I won't stand a chance. But the Lord of Chaos might. Maybe I should change jobs.
Then the warriors of light will come.
They're welcome to.
And there's another part where the canon Final Fantasy I team is shown with just a brief glimpse. And in the credits, the song My Way is played. You may remember that from George of the Jungle, or you may recognize it from Team 4 Star's cover of it. Now at first it was funny because of Team 4 Star, but that song, the meaning of that song was perfect for the climax of the story. Whoever was in charge of the music, freaking kudos. This game deserves to continue. Either give it DLC that's just a Final Fantasy I remake, or this whole series is a whole different timeline. But just get a better voice director and add a freaking in-game map next time. Later areas in the game started to become huge, and it was confusing to traverse them without a map. Now, the scores this game has been getting they're fair. See a bunch of 7s. But shoot, I give it an 8 because of the song in the credits. But the voice directing, that really hurt this game. And the visuals, even though they're good, they're not Square's top quality. And if this series doesn't continue, shoot, I'll just play the original first game then.